I felt like I kind of got a little bit distracted in my last discussion about Hegel, despite the fact that it was an exceptionally popular, surprisingly popular video. And I did want to revisit Hegel without the distractions, but perhaps with a further explanation in hopes of maybe giving people a better idea of how I come to my conclusions. Though, is it possible in reality to take a mathematical approach to human nature? Hegel and the process of dialectical methodology perhaps are about as close as we come to a mathematical approach or any kind of precise or hard science approach to human nature. Mathematics is considered a hard science because it relies on rigorous logical reasoning, systematic methods of analysis, and precise formalism to study abstract structures and relationships. Unlike the empirical sciences, such as psychology or philosophy, which rely on observation and experimentation, mathematics is based on deductive reasoning from known axioms and definitions. Among these are many proofs and theorems, and most interesting of all, perhaps for the sake of this conversation anyhow, may be the undecidable propositions or theorems that remain unprovable and unproven. These are theorems which are known to be true to the extent that they always work as advertised in their respective fields, but which cannot be mathematically proven and remain having never been disproven. One of the key characteristics of mathematics that distinguishes it as a hard science is its ability to establish objective truths through logical deduction. The inverse principles of mathematics, particularly in the context of mathematical proofs, provides compelling evidence for the existence of objective truths within the study of mathematics. We know, for example, if A plus B equals C, we also know that B plus A equals C, and we know that C minus A equals B, and C minus B equals A. The inverse principles of mathematics play a crucial role in mathematical proofs by establishing the validity or objective nature or objective truth of the logical deductions. These principles include techniques such as proof by contradiction, contrapositive, and induction, which allow mathematicians to demonstrate the objective truth of a statement by negating its opposite or considering alternative scenarios, something which will become relevant later on, as you will see. Human nature, however, is full of variables that are, in some cases, quite literally impossible to understand, never mind to prove. Philosophy seeks to understand both the objective and subjective nature of truth, and even absolute truth in any studies where such a thing is even possible or exists at all. Philosophy, by definition, is the systematic study of fundamental questions about existence, knowledge, ethics, reason, mind, and even language. Philosophy seeks to understand the nature of reality, both objective and subjective, the principles of knowledge and belief, the basis of morality and ethics, the structure of reasoning and argumentation, and the nature of consciousness and the human experience. At its core, philosophy involves critical inquiry, analysis, and reflection on fundamental concepts and assumptions underlying human thought and the human experience. Assumptions being the key word there. Philosophy explores questions that may not have definitive answers and seeks to develop coherent and systematic frameworks for understanding the world and our place within the world, despite the often incompetent nature of language in allowing for a clear and more precise expression of the underlying concepts and ideas that are put forth through a philosophical approach. Philosophy is, again, by its very nature, a broad, often vague, interdisciplinary field that encompasses various subdisciplines. Among these are metaphysics, or the study of the nature of reality, epistemology, or the study of knowledge and belief, ethics, or the study of morality and values, logic, or the study of reasoning and argumentation, aesthetics, or the study of art and beauty, political philosophy, or the study of government and society, and philosophy of mind, or the study of consciousness and mental phenomena. While there are other approaches to philosophy, those are primarily what we focus on in our research. Philosophical inquiry often involves critical analysis of arguments, examination of assumptions and implications, and consideration of alternative perspectives. Philosophers tend to use various methods and approaches, including conceptual analysis, thought experiments, logical reasoning, and empirical observation, to investigate philosophical questions and develop philosophical theories. Philosophy aims to deepen our understanding of the fundamental aspects of human existence and to cultivate critical thinking skills that can be applied to a wide range of intellectual, ethical, and practical issues. Practicality being the key term there. Philosophy is a discipline that encourages curiosity, open-mindedness, and intellectual engagement with the big questions that have puzzled humanity throughout history. I have personally addressed many schools of thought in my program design, and this is not an accident. There are, among my critics at least, or most especially at least, those who believe that I merely rant and rave and mix and match with some random, meaningless approach to the understanding of existential and the esoteric nature of humanity. In fact, the exact opposite is the case for me, personally. I tend to take a more mathematical approach to my studies of humanity, utilizing Hegel, or more precisely in this case, the process of dialectical methodology, as a sort of mathematical equation for a more viable approach to systemically sustainable human growth and development. In the context of dialectical idealism, utilizing the dialectical methodology, there are three variables in our mathematical equation for understanding human nature. These are the thesis, the antithesis, and synthesis. The thesis represents the proposed theory, the idea or ideal outcome. It is the initial position or assertion put forward as a solution to a problem or as an idea to be achieved. In our case, the thesis is generally, though not always, systemically sustainable human growth and development. That includes many aspects, many subdisciplines. Sociology at the familial level, community level, the existential nature of the human individual from their own perception and perspective, and multiple other schools of thought. But moving on, there's the antithesis. The antithesis represents the challenges, contradictions, or opposing forces that arise in response to the thesis. These challenges may come in the form of obstacles, conflicts, or even opposing viewpoints, such as, back to the old reliable Jung and Nietzsche, that hinder the realization of the desired outcome. For the sake of our work, the antithesis can be utilized as a location where the variables of human nature are introduced into our mathematical approach, or our dialectical methodological equation. This results ultimately, or ideally at least, in the synthesis, which is the resolution or reconciliation of the thesis and antithesis. It represents the integration or harmonization of conflicting elements to achieve a higher level of understanding, resolution, or progress. In the context of tackling the challenges faced by humanity, the synthesis would involve identifying and implementing synergistic approaches or processes that address the challenges posed by the antithesis while advancing towards the desired outcome of the thesis. To this extent, Hegel has given me what is perhaps one of the most powerful tools in my arsenals and for the purposes of my research and my increasing understanding of the existential nature of humanity and the human experience. It is through the utilization of tools provided by Hegel that I am able to find synergy despite the somewhat contrarian nature of the lessons learned, again, back to the old reliable, from both Jung and Nietzsche. It is through this equation that I am able, in theory at least, to ensure the contributions of the individual for personal gain, while at the same time encouraging their active civil participation for the benefit of the community and the family as a whole. Again, ultimately that will serve to benefit the state as well, which we've discussed in other videos. Hegel may likely be best known for the infamous, in my book at least, Hegelian dialectic. Problem, reaction, solution. This dialectic, this most common of dialectics, has been used again, perhaps most famously by Edward Bernays and his ilk. Edward Bernays, of course, being the nephew of Freud and considered by many to be the father of modern propaganda, where they have utilized Hegelian dialectic for the purpose of controlling and manipulating societal behavior, social engineering. But the tools of Hegel, at least, I believe, can also be used for the common good and to ensure the freedom and liberty of the individual, not only for the benefit of the individual, but also for the benefit of the family unit and the local community, which again ultimately will benefit the state. However, it should also be noted that Hegelian dialectical methodology allows us to consistently, even constantly, seek out and pursue new venues for approach and new methods for tackling social and individual challenges without the need to oppress or even to control the individual, the family, or the local community. Never mind completely eliminating any need for social control through social engineering, as eventually the communities where the individuals are free to pursue their own interests, providing a tangible benefit to their families and their communities at the same time, should serve as viable models for the rest of society. While there will inevitably be more variables in terms of human nature than any individual could personally study in a handful of lifetimes, the tools as provided by dialectical methodology do offer at least a modicum of hope that, yes, one day we will be able to enjoy systemically sustainable human growth and development for the benefit of humanity and society as a whole. So, as always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please do not hesitate to let us know. We'd love to hear from you. And if you are one of my permaculture experts and you're out there, we definitely want to hear from you. So let us know, please. Thank you. Bye. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment below.